All right, here we go again, up against Athletic Club here at home, and this is really interesting. So the problem with making all of the signings that we've made is that we end up with a very, very small bench. We only have 6 men on the bench because everybody's either cup-tied or we have a couple of guys who are injured. They are out with the flu or with the cold. I think we have 2 guys who are out because of that, but most of our guys are cup-tied. We're here in white, and so we'll see what we can do. Edwards back to Monseglio. We definitely want to win here. This is the round of 16 of the FA Cup, and we would love to make it all the way to the final if we could. Here's a pass over to Cristiano Ronaldo, and that's just a little bit beyond him, I guess. I'm not quite sure what happened there. I think that he probably could have gotten to that one if he had tried a little bit harder. That was not very impressive. So let's see what we can do, see if we can't get this ball off of them. And it looks like, here's Ronaldo winning it this time over to Casemiro. Casemiro, who was upset with me for not starting him in that Champions League game. It's up with Eriksen now. Eriksen tries to cross it once, doesn't work, crosses it again. There's the shot from Casemiro. It's deflected, and Bobby Charlton just knocks that one in quickly and easily. We're up 1-0, and so it doesn't really matter how big your bench is. Matters the size of your heart. No, it actually matters how good your strikers are. And I would say that Bobby Charlton's probably pretty good. This is a header. I see what this is. It wasn't deflected. It was Casemiro with a shot that Charlton then headed on in. So not much of a partnership, I guess, but that was a little nice development, nice turn of events. Ronaldo here to throw this one in. It's only 8 minutes in the match. Over to Mount. Ronaldo now again. Casemiro wins this. Ronaldo down to Edwards to Charlton. Charlton looking for Mount, I guess. That was a little bit weird, and he knocks it over to Edwards. Duncan Edwards scores. It's 2-0 for United, and that's pretty easy. Now, Edwards, everybody's wondering why in the world we're starting Edwards so quickly, but that's exactly what's happened here, and the reason why is because we don't have anybody on the bench that we could put in for him. This was such a strange pass to Mount, but he made the best of it that he could, and Edwards ends up winning this cross, and then it's all over but the shouting. 2-0 for Manchester United, and we are starting to run circles around them here early in this match. So this will be good if we can let our big players sort of rest. The B team comes out. It's as good as the A team. Edwards over to Eriksen. Eriksen's not going to be on this team long. We're not going to renew him after this season, I believe. Charlton's shot is deflected, so a little bit unlucky for him. But it's okay. We will keep trying our hardest, and we will continue to be positive. A little bit of off-field news is that our B-team coach was purchased away by another club, so we've got to figure out something to do about that. I hate doing that part of the game because I'm like, I really don't care. You guys find a B-team coach for me. I mean, I'm not going to pay any attention to them. All I care about with this save is the first team. Edwards over to Charlton, up to Eriksen. Seriously, the B-team for me is just a bunch of players who I might be able to make money from. Mount's shot is deflected up and out for a corner. Of course, it's different if you have a longer-term save that you're actually taking seriously. This one, we're just sort of putting a bunch of big players out there and trying to win everything right away. Another corner for United from the other side, and this time I know for a fact that I did not set up our corner, corner target, so this is probably going to be pretty interesting. Some of these guys are big at least, but not much is going to happen. This is what happens when you don't take your time to set up your corners correctly. I wish the game, again, I wish what I could do is just say I want the tallest guy here, the next tallest guy there, and just do it that way, instead of having to go through every single time there's a substitution, having to change it all by hand, and the system's not very good, and it glitches out half the time. Casemiro over to Figueroa, down to Monseglio. Monseglio to Casemiro, down to Edwards. Edwards to Charlton, up to Eriksen. Eriksen back to Bobby Charlton. And, so Bobby decides to try for the shot anyway, despite the fact that there's a guy right in his face. I don't understand that. You would think that you would try to do some sort of maneuver out of the way. A little bit stubborn, I would say, and the corner ends up being grabbed by their keeper. So we don't get anything out of that attacking movement, unfortunately. And so we're back here on the back foot trying to play defense once again. It's the same old story that we always seem to see. We end up giving up some position after a really poor attempt on offense. De Vici wins this over to Lam, Edwards. And yes, Lam is back out again because there's nobody else who can play in that position. Mount here ends up winning this, and he just taps that one in. Mason Mount, who just a couple of weeks ago in game I was trying to sell, has managed to win this ball and has scored number 3 here for United, and we are up 3-0. I'm still not convinced that I should stay with Mount long term because I think that there are much better attacking players that we could get for the amount of money we would get for him, but we'll keep him for the time being. Mount has frustrated me from time to time with poor play and attack, but so far in this one, it looks like he's doing okay. And my attempts to sell him apparently have not really dissuaded him all that much. Now we have to be careful before we leave ourselves wide open, which is exactly what we did. And so it's going to be a corner here for Athletic Club. And let's make sure that we get rid of this as soon as we can. We do head it away. Thank you, Ronaldo. It's only as far as Williams Jr., but then we win the ball afterwards, so it's not a big deal. This was a little bit confusing for our defense. Everybody was moving over to the right side, which left the left side wide open, and nobody even notices. And then, fortunately for us, instead of coming down left side, they decide to come down the middle. So that's kind of what happens, and I'm not sure what else to say about that. Edwards looks like he's about to fall over, so we'll put Pogba on here at the half. But 3-0 here for United, which is good. We are happy about the number of shots that you've taken. Edwards comes out, Pogba goes on, and we move on with our lives. And so let's see what happens here in the second half. We know that Edwards was tired, and we're going to have to start him afterwards. I think there's a week after this match before the next one, which I think is the Champions League match. So getting knocked out of the Super League Cup may have been a good thing. Mount heads this forward, and he doesn't go to anybody. And now we have to be very, very vigilant as we play defense and try to win this ball off. And they're playing keep away from us quite nicely here. And there is the shot. And Levi Yashin runs over and grabs that one. They're calling that offside, I suppose. I'm not entirely certain why. And so there you have it. I didn't see how that was offside, but I've missed a lot of calls here, as you know. Eriksson passes forward, looking for Monseglio, cannot find him. Figueroa wins this finally over to Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo takes us up right side. Ronaldo. And there's a cross looking for Mason Mount. Can't quite get it to him. And Figueroa tries to win this and is unable to in the end. And we have to watch out for another counterattack. And that's the one thing about this tactic that I've created that is frustrating, which is that we're wide open to these counterattacks. We don't really have much by way of defense there in midfield to stop it. But since we keep winning, I'm not going to care so much. What's Casemiro doing? That was awful. He just gives the ball to the defender. You wonder why I didn't start you in the Champions League. Well, that's the reason why, you silly man. Here's Figueroa, who wins this in the back to Eriksson, up to Mount, back to Eriksson. This is good. He's got a man. He doesn't see him. Over to Ronaldo on the right side instead of going to the left. And Ronaldo goes to Casemiro, back to Eriksson, to Pogba, who takes the shot. And so what was wrong with what's-his-name on the left side? I think it was Bobby Charlton. How come we didn't pass it to him? He was onside, and there was nobody covering him at all. So go figure that one out. That's what that lack of cohesion does to you. We're doing better now than we were at the beginning of the save, but we're still seeing sort of silly things happen where you have an obvious wide-open attempt on goal, and we just can't get it. And then that was a pretty poor play there by Figueroa, but we have managed to escape responsibility for Figueroa's awful inability to corral the ball with his feet. Eriksson now here with the free kick, and that is deflected. That's out for a corner, which is exactly what we want to see. So we have about 15, maybe a little bit more minutes left in this match. Casemiro staying on. I don't care if he's tired. If he was upset with me, he gets to stay on this whole match. Charlton wins this one back, and oh man, that was just off the inside of the crossbar and goes out. And boy, I thought for sure that was going to be number 2 for Bobby. And that was a sort of chance that you dream about, and he's going to see that one in his dreams. Pogba wins this one back. Here comes Pogba again. And he passes back to Ronaldo. Ronaldo is going to walk it in and passes to Casemiro, who shoots and scores. And that's the reason why we let Casemiro stay on the pitch. 4-0 now for United, and he's trying to get revenge on me for not starting him in that Champions League match. But this is why I don't listen when you say that he's tired. He doesn't look tired to me. And he definitely didn't look tired there. That was off of Irabar's, I think, shoulder. And it was a good place to aim at, I would say. 4-0 for United. We're not going to make any changes here at the end of this match. No need to. This is back for Ronaldo. Ronaldo wins this. Up to Figueroa. Back to Ronaldo to Mount. Casemiro to Eriksson. Up to Pogba. Pogba finds Charlton. There we go. Back to Mount. It's just a little bit too far for him. It was a good idea. Monseglio now passes straight to Mount over to Figueroa. And look at that. Look at how good we get back into the line there. There's Lam with it. Lam up to De Vici, and we've moved that line up. Here's Monseglio, and we're going to set it up again. Pogba, and that was probably one pass too many. Pogba didn't have to take that pass so quickly, and it's led to a counterattack. And fortunately, it's led to a shot that's off of the crossbar, and then Lam is able to get onto that one and knock it out for throw. That's why we have Lam on this team. He does an excellent job of doing that sort of thing. So, I mean, this was definitely a clear-cut chance for them. And Lam here comes in at the last minute and is able to win this ball off before there's a second shot. So we get a little bit fortunate that they end up hitting the crossbar and not us. Usually it's us hitting it. Philip Lam, by the way, having kind of a poor match, but it doesn't matter to me. As long as he's stopping the ball from going in, he's doing his job. Eriksson over to Charlton to Monseglio. We don't have those wingbacks on for offensive support. De Vici over to Lam. You can ask Ronaldo about that. He's probably upset with me. He's not scoring any goals. Charlton back to De Vici over to Lam again. De Vici to Monseglio. Monseglio over to Casemiro, back to Monseglio. And it's back to Leviashin, over to De Vici again. De Vici to Pogba. And Pogba just sort of stands there and lets them take the ball straight off of him. And that's the frustration we've had. De Vici wins this back to Pogba, knocks this one forward, and it's not able to find anybody. And this ends up being a shot that Leviashin is able to save. And so we have just a couple of minutes left, maybe a minute and a half left in this match. It ends up with Figueroa now. And he passes forward, finds Eriksson back to Figueroa. Ronaldo back to Figueroa. This is the way that it goes. Over to Pogba. Lam. So Pogba does a better job this time of keeping control. De Vici back to Lam to Pogba. Over to Eriksson. And he just doesn't win that one quite right. Doesn't get a good first touch on it and gives up possession. Figueroa heads it back to Leviashin. And this is probably going to end without another shot on goal, I'm guessing. Charlton is looking forward, and that was Lam, who didn't see what was happening. And then, again, this is what happens when we're not quite used to playing together. They're going to call something here a clear-cut chance. I'm not quite sure what it was, but it wasn't that clear-cut. It was a good job by Athletic Club to almost get a shot on goal, I guess. 4-0 for Manchester United, and this one, again, is basically all over but the shouting. Charlton trying to win this one off. It doesn't quite work. Figueroa wins this in the air. Casemiro, Monseglio back to Casemiro, to Pogba, and we have reached the end of the match. Mount will not get a chance for another shot on goal. It doesn't matter, and we've won this again. 2.41 the XG. We had just a little bit of the possession, 53%, so we just won that. They only had 3 shots on target, so an easy match there for Leviashin. I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.